I think the story, to start at the beginning, would be that we enjoyed watching Ketamine's videos.
Ketamine's videos were way unique.
They were way unique.
And he had a style that was just, it was right on, man. It was his own. It was a what do I want to say? Like a,
because he used Movie Maker, it gave it an almost
a
raw, underground kind of.
Well, there's an archetype in indie film that wasn't represented in YouTube, and
he filled that gap.
He captured it.
He filled that gap.
Yeah.
And he was definitely a hater. I think he did it in a way that was artful.
I was into it. I was actually very impressed by the guy.
Yeah,
and
I was.
Wondered.
I think a lot of people were.
And wondered how impressive would he be to me. I wonder if he'd be a cool dude to hang out with.
Right. He seemed pretty funny. There's a lot of good things going on with Ketamine. There's a lot of good vibes there.
He seemed to have really quick wit.
He seemed to.
He seemed to.
He sure did.
I don't know, it may have been an illusion.
In the end, I think the story will tell a different story, but he certainly seemed to have a quick wit and be funny, and I know that a lot of people had a lot of respect for him that were pretty artful at doing the same kind of style of thing that he did.
In terms of art, whatever art value there is to making videos, I highly respect it in terms of art.
I did.
Like, here's a guy using the Windows Movie Maker, and look what he's doing with it. I mean, Movie Maker's limited no matter what style you choose, but the style he chose capitalized on Movie Maker's strength, and it didn't matter. If you were going to try and do that style, you would have done it just like that in Premiere or Final Cut or whatever. All that shit.
He was doing his style, his raw style, and we liked it. Many people liked it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Many people that weren't. Many people liked it.
All right, but we're on this too long, so we've pretty much established Ketamine was cool in our eyes.
In our eyes, he was cool.
But we didn't have any contact with him.
Well, he ripped on Katie a couple times.
He took shots at her.
He took shots at her, and she took them, and she never.
And like always, though, like he took reasonable shots at him. They were fair game, man. They were
Anybody
right on.
who puts a video up is fair game.
But I don't actually remember his video, to be honest with you.
There was a couple. She's a bit.
But whatever. All I know is I remember that there were shots taken, but we weren't terribly offended or anything, and we just said, "Hey, good for you."
He definitely tore into a lot of people a lot worse, and he definitely could have torn into Katie a lot worse.
Right.
She's not that difficult of a target.
So then there's a whole chapter with Helene Exciter, and that's another story.
That's a story for later.
But it sets the background.
So basically,
right. So then Ketamine decides he's not into YouTube Underground anymore. He's going to do this Wars Art thing. He steps out on his own. I don't see any of this happen, by the way. My eyes are somewhere else while all this went on. But this is how I reconstruct the story as I know it. And you correct me wherever I'm wrong.
I don't know the truth either. I've heard stories that he was one of the founders of the Underground, and I've heard stories that he's full of shit and he wasn't. I don't know the truth. I don't know the truth. I've heard stories from all different directions.
Dude, I never tuned in close enough to know whether there actually was an underground or whether it was just a term that was thrown around to mean people who ran in this same sort of circle and had the same sort of
outlook.
Same sort of outlook, the same sort of purpose for being there. What they were going to do was they were going to expose all the shams and the frauds and the dickweeds.
The dickweeds.
And he was one of them, and he was a huge one of them, and a lot of people gave him credit for being a rallying guy. Like, people rallied around him because his style was cool. His style was just totally underground.
And nobody
denies
it. Nobody denies. Skihan doesn't deny it. B.O.B. does not deny it. They were once big Ketamine fans once. Even Exciter was subscribed to the guy. I mean, come on. He had it going on. He was on top of the world.
So at some point,
definitely,
for reasons I have no idea about, he decides to do Wars Art, and in hearing some of the people people's response, people's reaction towards art, I gather some things, like he snubbed his nose at certain people, or he was concerned about the behavior of certain people, and he wanted to distance himself. So he said, I'm not doing that with you guys. I'm doing my own thing over here, and I'm calling it Wars Art.
And I'm sure that the comments of this video will tell us all kinds of different stories, which I'm definitely interested in hearing, because from our perspective, we don't really know what happened in that situation.
Yeah, because to be quite honest, we kind of busy ourselves with our business. And all this other shit goes on, and we're like, wait, what happened?
what just happened? I gotta tune into the Chud report. See, who's the latest Chud here? But so on a whim, he's got his group, his War of Art, and for whatever possessed Katie to send him that the email that launched the end, I think the spiral to the end.
Yeah, whatever impressions you have of Katie, many of them are probably false, but one that is definitely accurate is the girl has balls. She's not, because I don't think she has any malicious intent in anything that she's doing. So she's like, well, why not?
Why not join
Somebody
Wars
said,
Art?
Wouldn't it be funny if you joined Wars Art? And she said, fine, I'll ask.
And she sent him a message, I want to join War of Art.
And so we're all laughing our asses off going,
like, yeah, right, he's going to make a whole video. This dumb fucking bitch has to be in my group. She's a chud. She's not going to be in the group.
Yeah.
We're not going to fucking let her in.
How could she be so delusional?
The girl's on fucking, she's crazy. We're not going to let her in.
That's what we're expecting.
So all of a sudden the response email is, well, there's a lot of rules. Something like, like what? Wait a minute, is he like giving her like is there even an option here? Like,
so now it's actually a possibility. So fine, man, threw the hat in the ring, play along, and whatever. So some correspondence back and forth about it, and what he gets warmer about the idea, and all of a sudden it's.
Well, actually, it was all of a sudden. Change the channel, and Pig Slop on his Return of God channel come out with, we have a big new YouTuber that joined.
That's
right. They're like, we've got this big new YouTuber that's joined our group, and we're gonna tell you like tomorrow or something, and they went a little suspense, and then all of a sudden the next day,
you know what it feels like though, listening to that build up and going, no,
oh my god,
why did you say that? Dude?
Why did you gotta do this? So regardless. The next day comes out, the new member of Wars Art is Katie's Opinion. I think it was Change the Channel came out with the first video, and then Mr. Ketamine came out.
And the world found out as we found out.
Right. We were... That's what's crazy. Whatever people think, like, we were as astonished. This was insane. Like, whoa.
Oh, dude, what fun.
And then, like, whoa. Like, oh my god. The earth cracked. And the YouTube exploded with, like, what? Insanity.